bike as they went. I worried less about those oncoming cars, though, than the one speeding up behind me. I was afraid I wouldn't be able to get out of their way quickly enough, that if forced to bail off the road onto the sandy shoulder at that speed, it wouldn't end well. Anne was in my head. If you get hurt, I'll kill you. It came as a relief when, ahead of me, Nico slowed and turned off the pavement onto the dirt road of the salt mine. From there, he jumped the berm and lit off down a small wash. Nick and I followed, Nick's dust curling past me, Clyde Eddy behind. As the wash widened, I twisted the accelerator, picking up speed, until we burst out of the wash onto the expanse of the dry lake bed. The sun was just dropping into its sweet spot, the mountains to the west fracturing its rays into beams that set the Sheeple Mountains ablaze. The lake bed plied beneath us was cumulus pillows of salt, mud-cracked clouds concealing the mucky mire below. I upshifted and flew across those clouds. The bike wrapped out the red line. Before me, haloed by solar aerials, Nico soared across the very surface of the sun, a beer in one hand, shorts and sandals, Apollo on his chariot, a golden comet's tail of dust his contrail. Nick, behind him, stood on his foot pegs, a centurion to the sun god, his comet-tailed jet washed orange and black against the golden light, while Clyde Eddy, following, was a meteor, his blue bike a cold stone barreling at me, a roiling explosion blasting him forward. I tucked down and flew, another heavenly body hurling across the sky. The minutes of that ride are indelible to me. For all I've done in this life, screaming across that lake bed, the sun's surface, the mountains ablaze around me may have been the most exhilarating 5 minutes of my life. We were jets above these pillows of clouds. No sense we touched the earth at all. Ahead, Nico's cut into a wash that led up into the dunes to the west. I continued straight, however, mesmerized, lost in the magic of the moment. Hitting the lake's rim at 50, its incline gentle, the wind having gathered sand into a ramp against it. With a sudden whomp, I found myself aloft, flying through the rays of the sun, separated from the surface of the earth and all but parted from the motorcycle, its handlebars' two grips being my sole points of contact. As I soared through the air, soles of my feet skyward. Oh shit, my first thought, Anne's really gonna kill me. Reminded in that instant that this was how Nikos, his friend Warbird, earned his nickname on this very lake bed, after hitting a rock that sent him airborne like an eagle. Wings spread across the glorious sunset, his impact with earth dislocating his clavicle, maybe breaking some ribs, but thankfully not his neck, which I was now in danger of doing. And this before Nikos ever gave me a nickname, like he had Warbird, or Nick, who was Jim because he looked like a young William Shatner, or Clydesdale for Clyde Eddy because that name fit him better than anything anyone had come up for him yet. Fortunately for me, gravity corrected the motorcycle's flight. I was riding two gyroscopes after all. The bike crash landed in front wheel first, my testicles rejoining the seat with 1, 2, 3 bounces, while I willed my hand, which I desperately needed for control of the motorcycle, to back off the goddamn throttle and my foot to find the fucking brake. Adrenaline juiced through me. On the top of a nearby dune, Nikos watched while Nick, silhouetted against the sun, spun an exuberant "Hills Are Alive" Julie Andrews Sound of Music spin. I joined him on the top of that dune. "How's the balls?" Nikos asked. I fretted the nickname I might have just earned. He opened a beer and handed it to me. Around us, the desert was a cauldron, the lake bed a shimmering froth. Lastly, I'd like to read from the epilogue, very end of the book.